Did you know that every year, nearly 48 million Americans fall ill from foodborne illnesses, with over 3,000 tragically losing their lives? What's even more concerning is that a large number of these victims are seniors, the very group of people who should be receiving extra care and attention in their everyday routines. According to the CDC, older adults are far more vulnerable to these illnesses because their immune systems are weaker as they age. But here's the real shocker. Many of these illnesses begin inside your very own refrigerator, a place you likely trust to keep your food safe. Recent studies have shown that when certain foods are stored improperly in the fridge, they not only increase your risk of food poisoning, but also cause significant nutrient loss. Even worse, some foods can undergo dangerous chemical changes that become particularly harmful to seniors. If you've been storing fruits, vegetables, or pantry staples in the fridge without giving it a second thought, you might be unintentionally putting your health at risk. And what's even more unsettling is that some of these foods might seem harmless at first glance. But make no mistake, they're causing silent harm in ways you may not even realize. The worst part? The number one item on this list is more harmful than you think. It actually loses vital nutrients and may even start producing toxic compounds when chilled. Stay with me until the end, because what you'll learn today could potentially protect your health and even save your life. If you're ready, let's get started. And before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, I highly recommend you hit that button and turn on notifications. That way, you won't miss out on any more helpful health tips made just for you. If you're enjoying this video so far, leave a 1 in the comments. If not, type C to share how I can improve the content to suit your needs better. Now, let's jump right into it. 3 foods you should never refrigerate. 1. Peanut butter, a comfort or a challenge. For many older adults, peanut butter isn't just another spread. It's a small slice of comfort, a taste of nostalgia from simpler times. It's a food that brings back memories of childhood snacks, of moments spent in the kitchen, or of quick, satisfying meals on a busy day. But for seniors, peanut butter can also serve as a lifeline, a reliable source of protein, healthy fats, and a quick energy boost. It's the perfect food to have on hand, especially when it's hard to cook elaborate meals or when appetite tends to decrease with age. However, there's something that many people don't realize. It's a small mistake that could actually turn a beloved staple into a source of frustration and, in some cases, even harm. For many of us, the refrigerator feels like the best place to store peanut butter. We assume it keeps it fresh for longer, keeps the oils from separating. But here's the thing. When you refrigerate peanut butter, it changes in ways you might not expect. As we get older, we know that our hands don't work quite as well as they used to. The arthritis that comes with age, or simply the loss of strength and dexterity, makes it harder to open jars, hold utensils, and spread anything on bread. When peanut butter is refrigerated, the oils inside harden, making it thicker and more difficult to spread. What once was a simple pleasure now becomes a real challenge. You may find yourself struggling to spread it on toast or a sandwich, and that frustration can turn a moment that should be easy into a painful task. This seemingly small problem can have a big impact. If you've been dealing with arthritis or reduced strength, even something as simple as spreading peanut butter can add stress to your day, making it feel like one more thing to worry about. The joy that peanut butter once brought you may start to fade, replaced by a sense of helplessness and disappointment. And that's just the texture issue. There's more to this story. The cold temperature in the fridge doesn't just affect the spreadability of peanut butter. It can also damage the very fats that make peanut butter such a healthy choice in the first place. You see, peanut butter contains monounsaturated fats. These are the good fats, the ones that support heart health and help manage cholesterol levels. But when these fats are repeatedly exposed to cold, they begin to oxidize. This doesn't just reduce their nutritional value. It can increase inflammation in the body, which we all know can lead to more pain, more discomfort, and more health problems. It's the opposite of what we want, especially as we age. But it gets even worse. If you've been relying on peanut butter as a source of nutrients like vitamin E, an antioxidant that plays a key role in brain health. You might be unknowingly robbing yourself of that benefit. Over time, refrigerating peanut butter destroys this essential nutrient. For seniors who are trying to maintain cognitive clarity and protect themselves from memory loss, that little jar of peanut butter could actually be doing more harm than good. Food is about so much more than just sustenance. For many older adults, it's about memories, rituals, and the comfort of familiarity. A simple meal is often an experience that represents independence and joy. But when that meal becomes a challenge, when spreading peanut butter becomes a struggle, those positive feelings start to slip away. It's not just about the taste. It's about the experience of enjoying food, of feeling in control, of maintaining your independence. The solution to this is simple but important. To keep your peanut butter in its prime, simply store it in a cool, dry pantry away from heat and sunlight. This ensures that it stays creamy, spreadable, and packed with the nutrients your body needs to stay strong and healthy. And, most importantly, it will make those little moments like enjoying a spoonful of peanut butter or making a sandwich much easier and more enjoyable again. Your hands will thank you, and your heart will, too. But hold on. If you thought peanut butter was the only culprit when it comes to food storage mistakes, there's more to uncover. Let's move on to another common item that could be quietly ruining your meals, causing harmful bacteria to grow and creating unpleasant odors in your fridge. Next up, onions. 2. Onions. A simple yet powerful ingredient. Onions are often overlooked in the kitchen, but for many, they're the unsung heroes. They may not always get the spotlight, but they're the ones that give flavor, depth, and aroma to the meals we cherish, the meals that bring comfort, connection, and tradition to our lives. For seniors, cooking meals that have those familiar tastes is a big part of feeling at home, feeling nourished, and feeling cared for. But there's one small mistake many of us make when it comes to storing onions. And that mistake can have a serious impact on both the food we eat and our health. You might think it's a good idea to store onions in the fridge to keep them fresh for longer, but that's actually a recipe for disaster. When you put onions in the fridge, they begin to lose their texture and flavor in no time. The cold and humidity of the fridge causes the onion's outer skin to soften, making them more prone to rotting. What was once a firm, flavorful vegetable becomes mushy, musty, and eventually moldy. It's not just the texture that suffers. It's the safety of the food. For seniors, mold and bacteria in food can be dangerous, leading to foodborne illnesses that may be harder for the body to fight off as we age. But the problem doesn't stop at the texture. Onions are packed with powerful nutrients, especially quercetin, a type of antioxidant that helps reduce joint pain and supports heart health. For seniors, these benefits can be a big help in easing the aches and pains that come with age. However, when onions are stored in the fridge, the very nutrients that make them so healthy begin to break down much faster, losing their potency in just a matter of days. So the onion you thought was supporting your joints and heart health is now stripped of its strength. And here's the thing. When food starts to spoil or doesn't taste like it used to, it's not just about the food anymore. It's about the routine, the trust, and the comfort you used to feel in your kitchen. When onions go bad and leave a sour smell in your fridge, it's a reminder that something small, something you might have taken for granted, is no longer working the way it should. For many older adults, cooking and sharing meals is a source of pride and joy. And losing that small part of your routine can feel like more than just spoiled food. It can feel like a loss of something familiar. But there is a simple solution. To make sure your onions stay fresh, flavorful, and nutritious, all you need to do is keep them in a cool, dry place with plenty of air circulation. A pantry or a basket in the kitchen works wonders. Onions thrive in their natural environment, and when they're kept properly, they'll continue to reward you with the flavor and nutrition you rely on. And now, speaking of food that often gets ruined by refrigeration, let's talk about something even more common, a fruit that many of us eat every day, but that can lose its nutrients before your very eyes once it hits the fridge. Let's talk about bananas. 3. Bananas, a simple snack with a big impact. As we grow older, it's the little things in life that bring us comfort. The warm cup of tea in the morning, the friendly chat with a neighbor, or that perfect banana that's ripe just when you need it. Bananas, with their soft, sweet taste and smooth texture, are one of those fruits that seem to make everything feel a bit better. They're easy on the stomach, easy to peel, and easy to love. But there's a small mistake that many of us make when it comes to storing them. We put them in the refrigerator. You might think refrigerating bananas is a good idea to keep them fresh longer. But unfortunately, that's not the case. In fact, when you store bananas in the fridge, you're actually taking away some of the very things that make them so good for you, their nutrients. It might seem like a harmless thing, but it actually robs the banana of much of its goodness, especially for older adults who rely on their diet for energy and health. Bananas are tropical fruits. Unlike apples or oranges, which can handle the cold, bananas thrive in warm temperatures. The cold from the fridge slows down their natural ripening process. Instead of becoming sweeter and softer, as they would at room temperature, bananas that are refrigerated stay firm and sometimes even develop an unpleasant, dull flavor. The starches inside never fully turn into sugars, which is why they can taste so bland. But here's the bigger issue. Refrigerating bananas can also reduce their levels of dopamine and antioxidants. Dopamine is important for our brain health and emotional well-being. As we age, maintaining a balanced mood and a sharp mind becomes even more essential. Antioxidants help our body fight against oxidative stress, which can contribute to conditions like heart disease or cognitive decline. These compounds are in bananas, and when you refrigerate them, they lose much of their ability to help us in these areas. For seniors, the small things like a good snack can have a surprisingly big impact on health. Bananas are a great source of potassium, fiber, and natural energy. They support heart health by helping to regulate blood pressure, which is crucial as we age. They can also help with digestion, an issue many older adults face. But when you store them in the fridge, you essentially freeze out these benefits. What was once a delicious, nourishing snack becomes a pale imitation of itself. So, what can we do to keep enjoying the full benefits of bananas? The answer is simple. Store them at room temperature. Bananas should never be put in the fridge. They're not meant for cold storage. If you find your bananas ripening too quickly, there's no need to worry. You can peel them and freeze them for smoothies or baking. That way, you still get to enjoy the taste and the nutrients, just in a different form. Bananas, like many of life's simple pleasures, are meant to be enjoyed in their natural state. By taking a little care in how we store them, we can make sure we're getting all the benefits they have to offer, especially as we get older. So, next time you see a bunch of bananas, remember, keep them at room temperature and let them work their magic for your health. The foods you must keep cold to protect your health. While we've seen how storing certain foods in the fridge can harm you, let's turn the tables. There are also foods that must be kept cold to prevent dangerous health risks. 1. Cooked meats and leftovers. For many older adults, leftovers are more than just extra food. They are a lifeline. After a long day, there's a comfort in knowing that there's a warm, home-cooked meal waiting for you in the fridge. Leftovers can stretch a meal, help you stick to a budget, and offer that familiar, satisfying taste of something you've made with love. But while leftovers can be a blessing, they also come with a very important responsibility. As we age, our immune systems aren't as strong as they once were. That means the bacteria in our food can have a much more serious effect on us than it might have when we were younger. If cooked meats and leftovers aren't refrigerated quickly enough, harmful bacteria like Salmonella and Listeria start to grow. And they don't take their time. They can multiply rapidly, putting your health at risk. This is especially concerning for older adults. A foodborne illness may seem like a minor inconvenience for some, but for seniors, it can quickly escalate into something more serious. It could lead to hospitalization, dehydration, or even a prolonged illness. The good news? A few simple habits can make all the difference in keeping you safe. The rule is simple. If you're not going to eat it right away, make sure to refrigerate it within 2 hours. That's 2 hours from when the food was cooked or from the time it was removed from the stove or oven. If you forget for just a little while, bacteria can already be starting to grow. And when you store those leftovers, don't just toss them on a plate or throw them in a container loosely. Make sure to put them in airtight containers. This helps lock in the freshness and prevents any unwanted air from helping bacteria spread. Plus, remember to eat the leftovers within 3 to 4 days. Beyond that, even the best intentions can't keep the food safe to eat. It may seem like a lot to remember, but these small steps are easy to incorporate into your routine, and they can save you from unnecessary risks. And when you open a fridge to find a delicious meal that's still safe to eat, you'll be grateful for the care and attention you put into preserving your leftovers. Taking care of yourself doesn't have to be complicated, but it's crucial, especially when it comes to something as simple as keeping your food safe. With these little habits, you can continue enjoying the comfort of leftovers, knowing you've done your part to keep yourself healthy. 2. Dairy products, a vital part of your diet, but handle with care. As we age, our bodies need more nutrients to stay strong and healthy. For many of us, dairy products like milk, cheese, and yogurt are an essential part of our daily meals. These foods are rich in calcium, which helps keep our bones strong, as well as protein and vitamins that are important for overall health. However, there's a hidden danger that many seniors may not be aware of when it comes to dairy: how we store it. Imagine this. You just come home from the grocery store, and you place a carton of milk on the kitchen counter. You're busy, maybe distracted, and you forget about it for a while. You think, it's just milk. It'll be fine. But here's the thing. Dairy products are very sensitive to temperature changes. If they're left out at room temperature for too long, they quickly become a breeding ground for bacteria. And for older adults, this can be more than just an inconvenience. It can lead to serious digestive problems or even foodborne illnesses like salmonella or listeria, which are much harder to fight off as we get older. So, what can you do to protect yourself? It's simple. Always store your dairy products in the fridge. Make sure the fridge temperature is below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. If the temperature is too high, bacteria can grow quickly, even if the product seems fine. Dairy should always be kept cold, and you should never leave it out for more than a couple of hours. If you're unsure whether something has gone bad, always check the expiration date on the package. It might seem like a small step, but it's an important one that can keep you safe. Taking a moment to check that your dairy is stored properly can save you from unexpected illness, which is especially important as we get older. And if you're ever in doubt, remember, it's better to throw out an old product than risk your health. Keeping your dairy fresh and safe to eat will help ensure you continue enjoying all the nutritional benefits without the worry. 3. Leafy greens, a heart and mind savior. As we get older, taking care of our bodies becomes even more important. We know that leafy greens like spinach and kale can work wonders for our health, supporting everything from our heart and bones to our brain. But the reality is, these greens are delicate. If not stored properly, they can quickly lose their nutritional benefits, leaving us with nothing but wilted leaves. Worse, without proper care, they can become a breeding ground for harmful bacteria, something no one wants to deal with, especially as we age. So, what's the best way to keep leafy greens fresh, safe, and packed with nutrients? Here's a simple solution. Store them in the crisper drawer of your fridge, but not just any way. Use breathable bags. These bags allow the greens to stay cool and dry, preventing moisture buildup that leads to spoilage. It's important to keep them separate from other produce that might cause them to spoil faster. By taking this extra step, you can help ensure that every bite of spinach or kale gives your body the vitamins and minerals it needs to keep your heart healthy, your bones strong, and your mind sharp. It may seem like a small thing, but making sure your leafy greens are stored the right way is one simple action you can take to improve your health and quality of life. You've worked hard your whole life. Now it's time to take the extra care to keep yourself feeling great for years to come. As we wrap up, take a moment to reflect on the choices you make in your kitchen. A little awareness about food storage can make a big difference in your health. So, here's my advice. Reorganize your fridge and pantry one step at a time. Keep a list of foods that should never be refrigerated. And most importantly, Share this knowledge with someone you care about. It could make all the difference for their health. Thanks for joining me today. If you found this helpful, share it with someone you care about. Let's continue.